Sayonara, Super Sentai. Anyway, hey everybody, what's up? This is Retrokid Reviews with a very unique angle that I might be experimenting on for when I ever get around to doing a traditional review for Sentai Successor. More on that in a minute. So, today's Toku news, in case you could already tell, is going to be the debut week of Super Space Sheriff Gavan Infinity. So before we electroplate, I don't know if I could say it's a traditional henshin name fully yet, surprisingly. There's been some news that has been circulating around of not just this new series, but more importantly, the original Gavan. I forgot to report this months ago, but the original show is available to watch on Tubi. And as a special treat, I wanted to do a bar for bar retro review and a current review of Gavan Infinity to see how much has changed in the 4 decades in between each show's absences. So that's the problem. I kind of can't. Despite all the heavy marketing, most of the trailers have been on Tokusatsu World's official. Links to that above as always. Turns out the first episode is not being subbed yet. I didn't think it was going to get simulcast. That was always the worry in the back burner of, at least as far as my channel's concerns go. So that's kind of where we are. So we'll get to that when we get to that. So let's get to my overall final thoughts of number one Sentai Gozyuger. And in case you could tell with most of my coverage of whatever Toku, more specifically Sentai in this case, it's getting harder and harder to cover once we're past the beginning arc, and that's kind of, I thought, was a me problem, but I think that stagnation was kind of a thing for most other Toku tubers. I know Kenza and a lot of her crew have already talked about the show, doing a catch-up on her streams. There's some highlights to it, so go to that in the cards as always. I think Christian, former All Stays, already did a big breakdown of just how he used to cover Sentai when it was coming out, his overall thoughts of Goju's ending as well. I haven't really had much time marinating on it over its finale last week, so I have now. It was a good series. My Emma situation or not, it was a decent anniversary Sentai. I wouldn't have it any other way, but there is one lingering team that should have had a whole spotlight episode, and I think for fans of this channel, you know what I'm talking about. Gozyuger. So, to my surprise, yes, they are going to be doing a Gozyuger crossover as a V-Cinema. So, we're not out of the woods yet when it comes to covering everything Gozyuger related, and that means probably, since this also will be months after the fact, they will probably green screen over anything they have with Maya when it comes to Goju Unicorn. Speaking of green screening things over Maya's original scenes, it has kind of played the majority of the final act and the final arcs of Gozyuger, even down to the final morph of the entire team. Yes, the final engage had a helmeted Goju Unicorn already ready to go. And then their replacement actress, who I think was an Akiba Ranger actor, still behind on the news there in case you could already tell, kind of sort of muffled what was an okay final arc going on with Goju Wolf, aka their Senshi Red. And yeah, it did muddy the waters, but not too much. So, again, if you are a fan of this anniversary Sentai, please let me know in the comments if the Minor More change didn't affect too much on the plot. Did the villains carry it from what I've heard so far on Keza's highlights? I think they absolutely did. I think they're damn good villains on their own accord. Not rivaling Boom Booger level of like stakes, but having their own individual problems going into like every versus fight with the Sentai team. Yeah, it kind of makes sense. I also loved, for what I saw in the highlights, was every guest Sentai character coming back as like their individual reds. Had no clue that there was a Toei producer being a meta character for the show, so I guess I learned a lot also from Kamer Jino as well. If you're gonna do this type of anniversary again, at least lean on your own problems, I guess, producing wise, which they lean on more with Maya. But again, harping that stuff aside, that is unfortunately for now the past Toku warrior or past like J Hero. Let's get into Gavan Infinity. Like I said, there is no official subs. I'm going off of highlights as well. But seeing the new Electro Play, seeing the new Gavans, the debut Red in this not Sentai team, essentially. They're their own individual team. They're definitely going to have their own attitude and stuff like that. They're having decent mecha. They also learned a lot from I want to say a lot of past Sentai that have blasters as their morphing devices. It's very integral, especially how Gavan used to henshin, or in this case now electroplates, back in the 80s. There's a lot of tributes to that, and that's kind of where my review ends because I don't have the full episode. I've been trying to find subs ever since it dropped this past Saturday here, and I've been trying to find it all night, actually last night as well. So that's kind of where the ships fall where they may. Hercules has already done a quick, not really quick and dirty, but quick enough overall review, and I think a bunch of other Toku YouTubers have always also reviewed it. I'm gonna check to them that where they got subs. So unless they're going off of Raws, which probably makes sense given the speed of how everyone's been reviewing so far, as always, links down below. So overall thoughts. This is not a goodbye, but a hopefully see you soon for Super Sentai. That probably will if anything happens, I guess ratings wise with Gavan. Speaking of which, I am very happy to see all the action I've seen so far on the highlights with Gavan. Looks very integral, very more crisp than it normally would be, and I think it's probably because they're still using the same probably effects team that's happening now with Kamara Zets. Speaking of Zets update, wow, Nox is full evil. I thought he would have like a redemption Rider stuff. No, he did two Rider fails, their version of demorphs essentially in Rider terms, and killed a female Kamara. First one in a while when it comes to Reiwa error. That's been a underlying trope in Heisei error. I'll talk more about that probably in the shorts. Also, speaking of the shorts, you're probably wondering that I haven't done a lot of state of play announcements and state of play coverage. A lot of things were kind of predictable, except for one particular IP that finally got a game. That'll be in the shorts. And speaking of which, what is your overall thoughts on the news? And that being said, on to the end cards over here to my previous video here, which was my overall coverage with another previous retro news with the Spider and Aurora stuff. In the lead up to not Tokyo Fair, sorry. There's a Tokyo Fair, I should know. Toy Fair, spittle aside, sorry. Go to that over here in the end cards to see other previous content, and obviously my shorts playlist to my overall thoughts of a certain state of play announcement that I probably already will be making figure coverage for as of this recording. Gear here to sub the channel, hit the notification bell down below, and until next time. Yeah, I said it once and I'll say it again since Gozyuger dropped, or when their first episode debuted. I still gotta get Sentai rings, and something Go Buster related, or even Go Kart related, would be a really good ring. Just saying, Toei.